Hello out there in the YouTubeverse, it's Max, and I am at you with Super Singleton, which is a format here that is on MTG Arena. And the reason I'm doing it is because it's kind of like a better version of this that you can play on Arena that we've been giving a lot of love to on the channel. If you haven't seen it, it's called Gladiator. And you can't really see the name of my deck over here in the corner, but it is Glad-Kratz, which is a Gladiator deck. And it's one I've been working on since Jumpstart's been added into Arena. So I'm going to give that a whirl in this Super Singleton format. Now, a couple things that are different about Super Singleton is that you're only playing a best of one, and Oko's banned, which is similar, but Nexus of Fate is banned, which is dissimilar. And unfortunately, the thing that I don't like is that Field of the Dead is legal to play. So we're definitely going to have to fight through that, and my list isn't necessarily built to handle dealing with a very powerful land like that. So my hope is that we can kind of get the game on lockdown before we get into it. So this is a cool way for me to show off Gladiator and also still kind of reach the audience who may be unfamiliar with Gladiator and just looking at the Super Singleton event. So that's my goal here, is to check this out for all of you fine people. This hand is pretty reasonable. We have a Bastion that we can build into, Guardian on 2. We don't get the Bastion down earlier, but the Swamp kind of ties the room together. We can Swamp followed by Dragon Skull Summit to get down the Guardian Idol, and then we can Castle Lockthwain to get the castle, or the Bastion of Remembrance, down. So Swamp kind of ties the whole room together, and if at any point we need to Innocent Blood, we absolutely can. Now, normally because of the 20 life total in Gladiator, aggro's kind of king. Green specifically, kind of like up to Crater Hoof, is kind of how it's the pecking order in a lot of Gladiator. You see that hoof deck is very, very popular. So we are going to, can I castle on one and then just Swamp and then tie that whole room together that way? Yes, I can. So it's even better for me. So I want to get my tap lands out efficiently. Is a big part of these Singleton style formats. So our opponent's playing a Pilfering Imp. Okay, so we want to play that. Okay, so it's just essentially a discard spell. I don't mind that. If they want my Nightmare Shepherd, they're welcome to it. I will play a Guardian Idol for mana ramp. That is more important to me. If they want to spend their second turn sacrificing their Pilfering Imp, they can do that. Okay, so it hits Sanctum of Stonefangs, which is quite good. A very good long game card. So, very smart play there from them. Good draw, certainly. And we're going to get bopped for one and try to figure out how we can overcome that. I think the Lantern's not bad. We can play that, but then we don't really have a follow-up outside of just Innocent Blood, which may be good enough before the Bastion. But if we go mana efficient, we can get the Bastion down. We could also get Nightmare Shepherd down, but I suspect they'd have removal. So I'd rather get the Nightmare Shepherd down in time. However, the Pilfering Imp can attack our hand. So there is a lot of things going on here that we want to kind of try to balance. So let's get the mana going so we don't have any troubles, because this deck does suffer from a lot of mana trouble. So let's go ahead and just Innocent Blood to protect our hand. So my long-term plan is, sadly, involves drawing cards. And you never want to necessarily be in that spot if you can help it. You want to try to maximize what you can do with your hand. But the nice thing is I do have Castle Lockthwain to help with that. So this turn's going to be a Bastion of Remembrance. And then it's going to be a Plagued Rusalka. Remember, our lands can tap for anything now because of the Chromatic Lantern, so colors aren't a problem. So it looks like opponent is holding a removal spell. That's fine. I don't really care. If they want to nuke our 1/1s, they're welcome to do so. And it's interesting, the Sanctum just looks to be a slow bleed here. So we can Guardian Idol, make it a 2/2, and attack. We can also work on Castle Lockthwain, which looks a little mana intensive. If we do the Guardian Idol, so we play Blood Crypt untapped, do the Guardian Idol. We still have enough to play our Nightmare Shepherd, because we do that, yeah. So, let's activate Guardian Idol. Careful with Guardian Idol, because it will try to get you to use him to pay. See that in the auto pay? It'll try to get you to pay for him with himself. That's ridiculous. The onus is on the opponent. Okay, I'm going to play this. 2 life. I'm going to play Nightmare Shepherd. Because Guardian Idol is a non-token creature. They're going to disfigure. Yeah, that's fine. So we have Nightmare Shepherd down. We'll see if opponents got a removal spell in their mono black deck. Probably. They have 3 cards. They haven't drawn any extra cards. So the nice thing about that play is even if they kill the Nightmare Shepherd, we still got to run our hand down, so we can activate Castle Lochthwain if we need to. Okay, so play Sir Conrad. Just fine. Let's play a land. Let's activate Castle Lochthwain. So we activate that. We can play a Goblin. We can activate Plague Rusalka a few times, but I would rather play this Goblin. See what I mean when I said this deck runs really tight on mana? Neither of these have reach. This deck runs really tight on mana. Like, we literally played a Goblin Instigator and activated Castle Lochthwain, and we're, like, struggling to figure out how we're going to pay for activations on our Plagued Rusalka. So that's really, really tough. Destroy target creature. So let's add a mana of any color. Let's black. Activate the Plague Rusalka. Target a creature. Let's target Midnight Reaper. Sacrifice a creature. Sacrifice the Nightmare Shepherd. Okay. So they're going to try to kill us with Sir Conrad triggers here. It's a bit of a tall order against our deck. See, we hit a Triumph. I don't love that. So we're going to have to cycle that. Drew a Swamp is real unfortunate. So we're going to play that. We're going to activate Castle Lochthwain. We drew Legion Warboss, which is generally a decent enough draw. Here it's not so good. And again, we're glutted on mana. So that's kind of tough for us. So let's see what we can do. If we can deal with Sir Conrad, I think we're in okay shape to take over this game. We have a lot more resources than our opponent, but we need to deal with Sir Conrad, because right now they're going to activate. They can activate 3 times. So we'll see what we can do. The Bastion's going to help, because every time Sir Conrad activates, the Bastion is also going to trigger. So there's some balancing out there. So we have to kind of figure out how we're going to approach this. Interesting. I don't know as though we're in a position where we can take 5, but I do like getting the Midnight Reaper off the board. Actually, block like this. We can sack the Instigator to the Rusalka. That's the kind of effect we need, something like that Vampire. We'll let the opponent use up all their mana here. Mountain was a really bad draw. I think we're gonna castle. Yeah, we are just running cold. We are flooding out badly. I'm just debating on if it's worth getting rid of Sir Conrad here. We can't, because again, we're tight on mana. So we have to do it on blocks. So they're probably just going to try to win with Sir Conrad activations here, and very likely will. Yeah, there's one from them. There's one from us. I got 2 more bites at the apple here. Eye Collector. Plague Crafter. Okay. Yeah, couldn't do anything. Flooded out real hard. Not much we can do there. Just the flood is real. So we'll run another one back. And see if we can get anywhere with this. No Field of the Dead, which was nice. Any game where we're not playing against Field of the Dead, I consider to be a win. So, we'll see. But happy to not play against it there, though I'm certain... Well, maybe not on Mono Swamps. Okay, our opponent is Fiery Poops, which you can't see right now because it's in front of my head, but you'll see it in a second at the top, in the corner. So we go first on what looks like a very solid hand. We will keep... Opponent looks like they're going to mulligan. Probably a free mulligan in this format. I haven't mulliganed yet in this format, so I wager it's a free mulligan. Although they went to 6, so maybe not a free mulligan in this format. Dismal Backwater. We'll play out a Goblin. Chromatic Lantern again coming in the clutch here is going to be pretty nice. Just going to get down the Chromatic Lantern. Nothing fancy here. Opponent mono tap lands. Just going to get down a Woe Strider. We can pretty much sack our board if they want to board wipe. They're getting rid of 2 creatures and 2 tokens. So it's not the end of the world if they board wipe us. Looks like they may have pinpoint removal for the Woe Strider, possibly a cast down. Heartless Act. Sanitarium Skeleton not going to do a lot for us at the moment. Do I want to sacrifice Goblin Instigator? Yeah, I think so. Swamp probably not going to do it for us either. We are a little tight on land, but we're not horrible. And it gives me a card to start fueling Escape pretty quickly. So, land wouldn't look horrible there because we could claim into Cavalier of Night, but we can just Cavalier of Night and take out any small creature or any creature that they play. This also puts a creature in for Cavalier of Night, so we just get the most value down the line by sacrificing it in the short term for the damage. So we'll see what opponent can cobble together here. Looks like they're on a Thriving Land. Don't mind Dust Legion Zealot here. I'm going to go ahead and attack. Opponent definitely holding an instant here. Certainly taking a long time. Do my quick rant about if you're playing Magic Arena, and you have an instant speed effect, even if it seems negligible, please pay attention to the game. Everybody's playing with their time, so don't waste everyone's time. And we'll end the turn. We have quite a few creatures here. A lot of things I don't mind dying. So it looks like this will probably be their first proactive spell of the game. Yeah, they kill 2.5 cards. Don't mind that at all. So let's return a creature from the graveyard to our hand. Let's return Woe Strider. And then we can just cast Woe Strider. So it immediately puts a threat back onto the board. That Nova seemed very, very, just a little too. I mean, it leads me to believe they probably have another board wipe in their hand, if they are willing to play out that Cleansing Nova that aggressively. That seemed very, like, my 3/1/1s were that much of a concern for you? That's very strange. Bastion of Remembrance is quite a good draw. So let's go to combat next. I'm going to try to slow roll the Bastion as much as I can. I'm going to attack them with Woe Strider and see if that lures out a removal spell, first and foremost. And it does. It's a Mortify. So I think that's fine. Then I'm going to play Order of Midnight. See if I can draw out a counter spell. That resolves. I'm going to play Bastion of Remembrance. If this gets hit with a counter, so be it. But that's kind of the way I set up the turn. I don't think holding up for Bedevil there is quite good enough. And they were holding Negate specifically. Okay. We tried. Opponent's drawing a lot of land, very light on action. Ugin the Ineffable's quite a good draw from them. Luckily, we have Bedevil to kind of take care of that, and we don't care about the 2/2 at the moment. So we're definitely going to Bedevil Ugin here. We just don't have a choice. Destroy Terror Creature, okay. Yeah, 100% not dealing with that. We don't have a sack outlet, and I'd rather wait on the Claim the Firstborn for now. We still have Order of Midnight. It can't be blocked by 2/2 on the ground, so we're going to order and attack and just deal 2 damage and try to set up for next turn. We have Perforos' Intervention, not very good here either. Dealing 2 damage to the manifest that they would then get is not exactly ideal. Okay, cool. Let's next go to combat. They thought long and hard about that. I think we can't escape, can we? Exile 4 other cards and we have 6. Okay, we can't escape. So I'm going to do that and just be mana efficient here. If they tag my escape, that's fine. Bedevil, Dusky Z, Bastion, and Instigator. We'll keep the cat, obvious. That one kind of gets itself back. Okay, but it does not have counter. Well, that's a... You cast it on escape? I don't want to... You may cast, yes. Search your -X. Okay. You gain X life. We're going to replace this goat with another one, so there's no reason not to do that. I don't know as though we want to do this. So I think it's a little low priority for us right now. Then that's fine. You got me. An opponent's got to draw well from here. We got to hope they don't. Their manifest is basically just a 2/2 unblockable. I'm fine with that. 2/2 unblockable is not going to win them this game. Okay. I think I'm going to play the Vindictive Vampire. I'd prefer a sack outlet here, but they're not going to let us keep Woe Strider on the battlefield at the moment, so this just fuels more things into the graveyard. Won the turn there with the Vampire. Opponent's drawing well. See what they have for a follow-up here. I mean, the first real creature they commit to the board is pretty easy fodder for Cavalier of Night. Okay, Castle Lockthwain, decent draw. Any land there, pretty good draw for us. Okay. Let's play Mayhem Devil, see what they do. Okay. Alright, cool. So that gives us something to do down the road here against their 2-2. Because right now they are going to turn the corner and win the race. Azor's Gateway. That's not a big deal. It just kind of lets them get rid of land. Yeah, I imagine I was going to say, if they have nothing, they're just going to Azor's Gateway. Because there's no reason not to get rid of a dead land. We'll see if they drew gas. They did. Wow. Went land into counterspell. Opponent has drawn. The past couple turns has drawn very well. So the good news is we again can't escape. Setting up to try to win with Perforos's Intervention. Get opponent low enough and kind of ding them out that way. Wow. Opponent's drawn extremely well. We'll play a Dreadhorde Invasion. A little sketchy here, but I think that the token's going to be valuable. See if opponent draws gas again. If so, so be it. And they have 2 bites at the apple because of Azor's Gateway. Prison Realm. So that leads me to believe that the card in their hand's quite good, yeah. Yep. Can only attack with the 4/4. Heraldic Banner is not going to do it for us. Okay, Bloodfell Cave's not a great draw either. What do we do here? We can go 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we just go for it. I don't think killing their 4/4 army is that maybe killing the army's worth it here? Maybe we kill the army. That leaves us up enough mana to activate Castle Lochthwain. We've brought the board to parity. The Dreadhorde Invasion can start to produce a bigger and bigger token every turn. We can also sack to Woe Strider. Or we cannot because of Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Pitiless Plunder is not going to do it for us from behind. That's one or more colors, right? Yeah, so the Chromatic Lantern will survive. I guess when you draw 2 Ugins in a game and insanely well in between the Ugins, you'll do pretty well. I guess an important note for Singleton. And meanwhile, we will draw a land. So they'll probably sack the one with the card underneath of it to get a card. It doesn't show me what's under it easily, which is annoying. The fact that that ability triggers when Ugin is not on the battlefield is crazily poorly designed, in my opinion. We could have tried to draw off Castle Lochthwain. They don't have us dead yet. Or do they do with Ugin? Yeah, what am I talking about? You got it. Ugin's plus. Yeah, so just nothing doing there. Just 2 games in a row, it seems like we've drawn kind of poorly. That game, opponent drew extremely well. Like, far, far above and beyond what I think is reasonable. On turns where they just shouldn't have. There was no card draw. They managed to draw into exactly what they needed until they hit that the addendum card that draws them cards. But 2 different decks, so not too bad so far. We have 2 pieces of targeted removal and a Pitiless Plunder. We could probably keep Mountain and then cycle Forgotten Cave and try to get into something that way. I'm willing to keep it because it has a decent enough... It can buy us time in the short term if we're against aggro. So I don't hate that. Now I think we'll pivot a little bit and go with Gutterbones first, because if opponent's blue-white, Gutterbones could get in like 4 to 6 damage against this particular opponent. And what's cool, if you haven't played any of these kind of Singleton formats, is the mana is very good. It's really a surprising thing to see how good the actual mana bases are in a lot of these decks. I'm going to pass turn here. I'll cycle Forgotten Cave at end of turn if I don't have to commit one of my 2 instant speed removal effects to the board. And we'll have to commit one of them. Because I do think we want this out of the way. We just want to kind of beat down here if we can. Now it's questionable if we want the Forgotten Cave as a land. And I think we may. We haven't drawn extremely well on land, so I think we're just gonna get things going here. Next we can play the Vindictive Vampire and try to set up that way. Against what appears to be, this was black or green. Okay, so they're blue, they're Bant at the moment, or seemingly Bant. We'll see what they get with the Solemn's going to tell a lot of the tale if they're more colors. Yeah, it looks like just Bant. I'm going to play the Swamp here because I want to use the Fabled Passage. I want to retain as many lands in the deck as I want because I think I do need land. I don't know if we want to trade Gutterbones for Solemn. My gut instinct is probably maybe we do because this seems like it's going to be a deck that wants creatures on the battlefield and it's going to want to go into Craterhoof Behemoth. So my inclination is we are going to want to attack into this opponent when they have something like just a Solemn out. We're going to Heartless Act whatever big creature they play this turn. I suspect on the 6-drop they're going to have something to commit to the board. Obviously if it's Carnage Tyrant or something we can't, but if it's a creature we can interact with via Heartless Act we will. They're going to Banishing Light. I think we fling the creature at them. Surprised to see that Banishing Light was the play there. So that means they probably don't have something really proactive. Yeah, Arc Bow is going to take time. So they're trying to buy themselves time. Can't Arc Bow here. Play a Pitiless Plunderer and attack. Don't really care if they block. This lets us hold up a Heartless Act. So we'll see what we can do. We're definitely lean on cards. Field of Ruin. Opponent paying a lot of respect to Field of the Dead. Very sensible. Face Fetters targeting my Pitiless Plunderer. Sure. I think that means their hand's pretty light on action. I guess that because they're trying to stop me from getting the Gutter Bones back, it seems. Okay. Play a Fabled Passage, activate Fabled Passage. No reason to... no, because we don't want to spend the treasure to equip, so... Another land, so we'll see. They're getting to critical mass. The Arc Bow is going to kind of take over the game, is the problematic piece. So we got to try to figure out a resolution to that. Discarding a wall? Interesting Wall of Blossoms there. Leads me to believe the other card in their hand's pretty good. But probably not as good as a 7-drop going onto the battlefield. We do have our Heartless Act we can use. Don't have anything yet to deal with the Arc Bow. Oh, wow. They get a slightly bigger Wall of Blossoms. I don't know if I want to go aggressive enough. Like, that aggressive to Heartless Act the carry added. So I think we'll wait on that. Perforos' Intervention's an interesting one. Don't know, so we want to burn treasures on equipping the gutter bones, but we will burn one to activate reassembling skeleton. And it still, again, lets us hold up Heartless Act. And the Perverse's Intervention, again, is real. Okay. It doesn't have hexproof, so... So if they have some kind of protection or veil of whatever that veil is, Veil of Summer, the one that's banned, the green card that's banned, not in this format, but banned in basically every other. Now I don't know if I want to spend both treasure necessarily to get the skeleton back, but it might be worth it here. Tagging hard on that scry. Okay. I think we'll hold off, because if we draw land... Okay, Plague Crafter's decent. I don't think there's a way I can cast everything I want to cast here. My thought is maybe trying to get them to discard the Plague Crafter. But we know the top card of their hands of their deck is good. So we want to try to just get them to play that out. But maybe that's not quite worth it. I think we just hold here, get back our reassembling skeleton, kind of rebuild our board state. Prevent all non-combat damage to be dealt to you and creatures you control. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white unicorn. So this is why the Plague Crafter line probably would have been alright, because I think they probably do activate Arc Bow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is questionable. They could miss off this. That would be ideal. But they are playing some utility creatures at different CMCs, so... Night of Autumn. So they could probably blow up our... I doubt they worry about the mask here. Yeah, they go for it. I maybe would have just made a bigger creature. Because now you're stuck with a 2/1 against Reassembling Skeleton and Gutter Bones. Though Gutter Bones is going to be admittedly tricky to get back. So our path to victory here is to attempt to win with Perforos' Intervention. Is going to just have to be to make enough creatures that we can attack past them. It's going to be a tall order in the face of the Vivian's Arc Bow. I don't think there's much else we can do. Because every dead card just becomes a... Yeah, Craterhoof Behemoth. No haste on that one. So we got 9, 15... Defender there. So 15 coming in. Okay. What's the maximum we can do this for? So I don't think we can win by just taking out Craterhoof Behemoth. It also prevents the damage, keep in mind, from the Blessed Sanctuary. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we can go 10. I think that's everything, right? We tried to fight the good fight. And that's all we can do. Close, but not quite there. So we'll take a look at the list to kind of round out the video here and kind of just see what's what, see what I liked, what I didn't like. This is a new build I'm working on. So let's go to decks, go to all decks, and the Kratz deck, and we'll pull it up here. So, some things I don't think are quite good enough. The Cauldron Familiar looked a little ambitious. We have the Oven combo. We have a couple other things that make food as well. Nothing great, but it's a few things that do make food to try to make that work. I think that's going to be a little bit questionable. I think the Oven's fine because it's a sack outlet. And I think it's a cheap sack outlet, so that's enough to get by. Heraldic Banner, I like the Mana Excel. Chromatic Lantern looked good for us. But I really think we want our Mana Excel on the 2-drop more than we want it on the 3-drop. So I think I'll probably drop Heraldic Banner. Most assuredly dropping Cauldron Familiar from the deck. I wasn't too thrilled with that. Didn't really get to see a lot of our sack enchantments in any of those games, which is kind of unfortunate. Didn't get to see Liliana. No Harvester of Souls. So a lot of our big payoffs we didn't really get to see. One that I was hoping I would draw to see how it is Captivating Crew. Could have been crazy there. On the turn, they Crater Hoofed. We could have worked on an Elemental, worked on taking either a blocker or taking the hoof itself and trying to jam. Something along those lines. There's a lot of options in here, I think, and I think the Sacrifice deck is definitely one. Isareth may be a little bit ambitious. In terms of it's a lot. It's a 3/3 that comes down and does nothing, and then it has to attack to do something, but it's a 3/3 death touch outside of that. So there's a few slots that I think need to be kind of changed. I do think the deck needs more card draw. Is the one thing we were really running out of was mana and not things to do with the mana. We had plenty of mana on board, but more things to commit when we were behind. So we never really got to the position where we were ahead on board and doing really well. But you do get some really awesome payoffs in this archetype. We saw the vampire come down that drains life, which is pretty good. You also get Blood Artist at a jump start, which is kind of crazy. There are some things that I think are pretty darn good. You get the Dark Dweller Oracles, Dragon Fodder came out of Jumpstart. So there's a lot of ways to make tokens and have a lot of these kind of value creatures you don't really care about floating around, which is pretty cool. Mindstone and Guardian Idol both seem very good in this deck. A lot of the costs are generic to do things, so you can kind of take advantage of that with those 2-drop mana accelerants, which I think are very good. Call the Death Dweller is questionable, but I think good enough because it puts things back right to the yard, not just to your hand, which I think is very important. Vindictive Vampire is the vampire is talking about that gets that effect. We have Kells now, who is the fight fixer. Sacrifice creatures, they gain indestructible. It draws cards when you pay black mana. We saw the Nightmare Shepherd briefly at a point. Very good when you're sacking your things to get them back for value, like Ravenous Chupacabras, Beetleback Chiefs. The Goblin Instigator even looks good. Just anything that you can value cycle, and what you need to do that is to be able to get that critical mass of spells down, which we weren't able to do. And I really think a function of that may just be a lack of card draw. So I know Phyrexian Arena is in this format now. That may be something to look towards because the drawing over time seems actually pretty good in a deck like this. There are other things that draw cards quicker and that might be worth investigating one of the sorceries that do, particularly if I could find one that costs less. I don't know if Sign in Blood or Night's Whisper are in here or not. I can search for it, though. I don't think it is. I don't think so. Just black, please. No, not any of this. It's looking for anything that is a knight. Yeah, I don't see Night's Whisper. Make sure I'm looking at, just for the sake of you all not having to pull up Arena and do that. Nope, just Honden of Night's Reach. So there's no Night's Whisper, there's no Sign in Blood. Double check that too. Correct. So there's nothing there to really help us much with the trying to get cheap card draw. But I'll look. I mean, there's like Village Rites, which is sack a creature to draw 2 cards. It's okay, and I would have taken it there at a lot of points, so it may be good enough. But we definitely want to keep cards flowing and kind of see how things go from there. So definitely let me know in the comments what you think about the build. I know it is kind of a first try. And again, check out Gladiator if Super Singleton isn't running. I think it's a cool idea, and I wish that they would have just called it Gladiator, or reached out and been like, hey, we're going to try this, as an event. So get excited, because this really is fun. The best of 3 matches make it really cool. You have no sideboard in Gladiator, but you do just get to fight 2, because sometimes you have run bad, or on the second game you really can inform your mulligan decisions by knowing what your opponent's on out of the gate, which is really exciting as well. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. We are here every Thursday with a new video. We are on Twitch, twitch.tv/superliminalfilms, streaming on Sundays, possibly moving nights for that. We're trying to figure it all out, but we are there. Just check us out there. It's really easy. If you just give the channel a follow and you ring the bell, you get notifications about all that good stuff, and we love to have people hang out and talk Magic with us. We're always playing Arena, playing lots of Limited, goofing off, Pauper, all kinds of fun stuff we get to do over there. So until next time, cast more spells.